We're going to start with the mess that is the Bulls. We're going to laugh about it, and then we're going to talk about how things are good right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start with the Bulls because holy shit, what a fucking mess.
Thoughts, perception, beliefs.
I don't expect any better. This is the worst part. Like, here's the one takeaway I have. Like, Jim Boylen clearly doesn't know what he's doing. I have no problem. Like, you're going to get a dollar store version of Tom Thibodeau and expect like positive results. You're a moron. I thought Hoiberg was job, but he's been job since day one. So like, the hell do you expect? Of course, they're going to fire him at the most inopportune time. That is an entire organization of dudes who are just trying to cover their own asses on a day in, day out basis. It is a failed state. But Boylen in particular and all the micro stuff with the leadership council and all this stuff, like the one takeaway I had from it, and this is the only positive thing I can say about Jim Boylen, like, listen, the Bulls might actually need to practice for 2 hours. Like, they're really bad. I know Jim Boylen's not going to fix it, but like legit, you guys can't see this right now. Sam is, I think, did your chair just break?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Just had to readjust because my left foot fell asleep, so we're good.
We do a video version of this.
Yeah, we should say that, by the way. We do a video version of this podcast. You guys should watch the video version of this podcast. Go to YouTube.
Only if you watch that clip.
I felt like I actually don't think that when we do the video, people can see that. So we're clear.
Shit. Goodbye, ugly mug.
Go to the YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the CLNS YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch us.
Oh my God. It was truly quite something. I'm sorry for derailing my my inconsequential tangent about Jim Boylen. Like, the Bulls suck. They do probably need to practice for 2 hours, but Jim Boylen and just these nonsensical axioms he's constantly spouting. Like, I legitimately think they found like a 50-year-old investment broker who coaches a church league on Sunday and is just like, I can do this job.
Like, okay, so there are a few different things going on.
A few.
There are like 100.
Yeah.
So the first thing that's worth saying is, I understand that the Bulls need practice. They need to figure some shit out, right? They're a really bad defensive team. Most of this is the personnel.
1,000%, yeah.
John Paxson and Gar Forman for this above all. But, I get the fact that a coach has to do with what he can with the hand he's dealt, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the problem, though. I get practicing for 2 hours. Don't make these dudes do like suicides, like they're
you're making him do fucking push-ups.
Kids, like, don't make them do like push-ups. Like, that's ridiculous. Don't schedule schedule practice after you play a back-to-back. The second you lose by 56 points.
Yeah.
It's like after those 2 hour practices where it's been miserable for the players, and then you say, oh yeah, we took the starters out so that we can get a good practice in on Saturday. That's bullshit. Like, don't, and then like act afterward like, oh yeah, like I was never going to have them practice. Like, they have to learn to trust me. No.
They need to learn to trust me by I'm going to blatantly lie to them.
Yeah, like that is the most ridiculous possible outcome here.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Like,
no.
Not in this like this sense that we say like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, I don't, like, in a literal sense.
He genuinely has an idea of what he's doing. I think he knows what he wants to do. The problem is that he wants to be Greg Popovich. Like, like there are people that are saying this right now. He came up from the pop tree. He coached under Greg Popovich. Like, he wants to be Greg Popovich. Greg Popovich can do this stuff because Greg Popovich has built up 20 years of respect and won multiple titles with the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. Jim Boylen coming in for 3 games now, he can't do that. Like, that's not how this works,
I mean, obviously. But, like, the other thing, too, is, like, Pop isn't like this anymore. This shit flew 20 years ago. And Pop has adapted. Now, listen, he might still be harder nosed than most, and he's probably not to Tibbs's level in terms of hard nosed. But like Jim Boylen's understanding, and listen, if Jim Boylen can make the argument of, well, yes, we're not the San Antonio Spurs, and I'm not Pop, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to do things the right way. His notion of the right way is outdated, and again, these are professional athletes. If this is how they want to run their business, that's fine. The players can do whatever revolt they want. That's their prerogative. Like, I'm not going to, you can't be doing suicides and push-ups. Like, you can, you're just not going to ever get any players that you don't draft. Like, that's
right.
That's how that's going to go. And the players are going to everything that's happening is going to happen, and you'll be a laughing stock of the NBA. You can do whatever the fuck you want during practice. I'm not going to bemoan a coach for going hard. I will bemoan the Bulls for putting this guy in charge. I will bemoan the front office for putting together a team that is wholly incapable of playing defense. Signing Jabari Parker to a $20 million deal. I'll just bemoan the entire state of this franchise because, like, what reason is there to be optimistic about the future? More specifically than that, what reason is there to think that when they get another lottery pick, because they're really bad and they're going to get another high draft pick, what reason is there to think that along with Wendell Carter and Lauri Markkanen, that there's going to be any base that's going to stick around and things are going to be good? Like, they'll just fuck that part up too. That's what they do.
I want to bring this part of it up as well. I don't understand why they have this faith in Jim Boylen to start with, because
like, why him?
Like, he ran Utah into the ground, and I mean like the University of Utah. He ran them into the dirt. Like, they were so bad by the time he left. First and foremost, like, Will Clyburn was on that team, if I remember correctly, for like a year, and then ends up transferring to Iowa State. Will Clyburn is now like one of the 10 best players in Europe, probably something like that. JJ O'Brien has gotten like a sniff of the NBA. I think he's signed with Utah a couple times. He was a great player at San Diego State. These guys all leave, and he ends up going 13 and 18 in his last year, 14 and 17 the year before that. And this was a program that, like, he didn't take over right from Rick Majerus. He took over from Ray Giacoletti after Giacoletti kind of started the ball rolling down this hill.
He didn't stop the ball from rolling, though.
No, he had like a good year in 2009 and then failed miserably. This program was so bad that when he left, Larry Kraskowiak, who is an amazing coach, he is phenomenal on the college level. He went 6-25 his first year because there was nobody there. Yeah. There was nobody there. It's just a total joke. Like, I don't get this, that they're even committing to him beyond the season right now, which is bananas to me. Like, none of this makes any sense.
I don't remember who wrote it, but I very much remember.
Let's assume it was Ricky O'Donnell, because Ricky.
No, because Ricky O'Donnell would have been 10. This is one of the main columns I remember, not to any specific degree, but I thought it was the first time I sort of took note of sort of what the column is supposed to do, and it's supposed to be a champion for the fan and sort of be that connection and someone who will collectively speak up. It's more politician than anything. And during the post-Elton Brand, Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler shit show years, which were some incredible shit shows, the Bulls continued to sell out. And so that gap between when Derrick Rose showed up and when Elton Brand left, they were the worst. They were a laughingstock, worst team in the NBA, on par, not even on par with the Clippers. The Clippers got good because they got Elton Brand. And they would still sell out every single game. They still had the post-Jordan attendance bump. And my my dad, who was on the Bulls season ticket wait list the entire Jordan era, finally gets on, and we're like, yeah, we'll buy tickets. And we went, and it was just a miserable experience all around. And I very much remember a column in the Chicago Tribune being like, the Bulls will not change until people stop rewarding this team by going to games.
See, you know what the problem with this column is?
That shit is still fucking true today.
You know what the problem with this column is?
No.
It's probably written by Jay Mariani.
It was no, because it was the Tribune. It was the Tribune. It was the Tribune. So it might have been Skip Bayless.
We're clear with Skip. You know what? I got no problems with Skip.
I've heard some stories from him. I got a little bit of a problem with Skip. Skip Bayless one time told me we should go golfing. To which I go, well, that's a really good way to get on some nice courses and probably not the worst person to go out golfing with, all things considered. And he goes, let me take down your number. And I go, okay. And he pulls out his phone and he like fake punched it in right in front of me.
Good for him.
As I could see it. And I'm just like, listen, man, you were the one who started this transaction. I wasn't like, hey, Skip, let's go golfing. Like, I didn't say anything at all. Like, he thought he was doing me a favor or something. I'm like, I don't want to be talking to you.
Just letting you know that he knows you exist.
I suppose.
In a very disingenuous way. But
like, just shake my hand and say, have a good day or something. Like, it was like, I'm like, oh, that, like, listen. And that was the general tone of Fox with the on-camera people towards like the writers, which is just like, I'm doing you a favor. And it's just like, no, I'm literally doing you a favor. They called me in to ghostwrite for you, motherfucker, because you can't do it. So I'm going to sit here and interview you for 3 hours as you nonsensically ramble, and I'll put this together into something that looks cohesive, get no credit for it. And like, he was asking an interesting conversation. I thought we were having an interesting personal conversation. I didn't spark it at all because I didn't want to sit in the room anymore. It sounded like he was kind of lonely. So I was kind of, like shooting the shit. Jesus. And at the end, he like does like an in-person ghosting. It was incredible. I'll never forget that. I don't know what kind of sick power move that was, but I think about it all the time.
just how much power you got to have to just like in-person ghost someone.
Well, like I had the thought of like telling him to go fuck himself in the moment. And then I'm like, well, I should probably delay getting fired. It only took another few weeks.
So the Bulls like need Zion. That's where we're at. Like the Bulls need like
the Bulls need Jesus is what they need more than anything else. The Ricky O'Donnell thing was comprehensive and perfect, and it was.
Well, they need to fire John Paxson and
they need to fire everybody. They need. There's no cohesive vision other than John Paxson and Gar Forman covering their ass on a minute-by-minute basis because there's no actual oversight from ownership, which doesn't really give a shit about the basketball team. They do care about the White Sox, which is great for me as a White Sox fan and season ticket holder. Maybe we'll get Bryce Harper out of this whole thing, and that might be worth it. But like,
okay, time out.
Yeah,
you live in the Bay Area. Why are you a White Sox season ticket holder?
It's a thing. It's kind of like the Kurtenbach family cell phone bill is still in my name because I was the first to have unlimited data.
Okay,
that makes sense. The Spotify is still in my name because I get the family plan. It's sort of like that.
Okay.
So if the White Sox come out okay on this, I might be okay, all things considered. There's a lot of other good basketball teams, and I'm completely flabbergasted as to how, in a city that is notorious for being pretty tough on sports teams.
Yeah.
At least the Bears. At least externally. At least externally, they get the reputation of, being hard-nosed and not taking any shit and all that stuff. Like,
they ran Mark Trestman out of town.
Well, he needed to be run out of town.
Like shit. Like
for how they do with the Bears, the fact that like this shit just keeps going on year after year is flabbergasting.
Yeah, it's a surprise. I would say.
This organization has legitimately sucked.
Like they're hard on the Cubs too. I mean, they're
super hard on the Cubs. They want to run Joe Madden out of town.
Right. So like I don't.
So basically, it's the white guy sports.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's kind of right.